I run away, I think I'll go back to that place I stay. Play on the server the TimeShot way. Hello people, it's Poet, and welcome back to TimeShot. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a jump cut here. I wanted to get this donation out of the way because I just got it after I recorded a very important episode, and, well, the episode has nothing to do with it, but I just recorded and just got the donation, and it's going to be like 4 or 5 episodes before I'd be able to get this donation out of the way otherwise, and I don't want them to wait that long, really. Just out of courtesy, I'm going to do it now, tag it to the front of the episode. Hopefully it doesn't detract from the donation, because it is a very serious episode. But here we go with the donation. It is a gold block, and you guys know what that means. Bam! That it is from Foxtrot Remedy, and the donation amount is $50. Thank you so much for the very, very generous donation. And it did come with a message. It says, "Poet, I love your sense of humor. I just wanted to help you put more good out into the world." Signed, Becca. Thank you so much. It's super appreciated. I can't tell you enough how much it means to me that you guys feel the need to donate. 50% goes to charity, but it really helps me out, and it means a lot to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you guys who are watching want to donate as well, the link is in the description of TimeShot videos only, so you can feel free to do that. Now, that being said, I mean, it's funny that you say that you love my sense of humor, and then we're going to jump into a very serious discussion here in this episode. But that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. But again, hopefully it doesn't detract from the donation. It is super appreciated, and I am very, very, very thankful for it. And hopefully it doesn't take away from the very serious discussion that we're going to have today as well. I also want to quickly apologize for the sound quality of this upcoming episode that you're about to see, because I was doing some weird things with my mic, and it actually only recorded on my other mic, which was like pushed to the back of my room kind of weirdly, so you're gonna see that the sound is a little bit odd, but it's still watchable, and it's a very important topic. So hopefully you guys enjoy it, and don't say anything about the mic, please. I know I know it's not the same, not my fault. Well, actually it is entirely my fault, but anyway, again, very serious episode, so I shouldn't joke around too much. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of what you see. Today, I'm going to be talking about something that's pretty for serious. Usually, these kinds of things take many takes. I really hope that I can get this all out in one single take. This time, barring any unforeseen circumstances like that. Now, the reason it's taking me a long time to get out what I want to say is because this topic actually, it puts my stomach in knots, and I've never really experienced that kind of thing before. Oh, this is gonna look bad if I do this. Never really experienced that kind of thing before, where my stomach goes into knots, even just thinking about how I'm going to present something, how I'm going to say something, so that I get it right and don't offend anybody, and I just want to do justice to the conversation, put my own perspective on things out there, and I guess the best way to start is just by saying ahead of time that I know that it is a sensitive subject. I really do know that a lot of people are deeply affected by it, and that the words that I say in no way are meant to hurt someone's feelings. I don't want them to be misconstrued or taken the wrong way. I don't intend to hurt anybody. I feel like I want to be a good person, and I want to do good things, and if something I say, it does hurt someone, if it is taken out of context and is seen as inappropriate or adds to the problem, then I would be the very, very first to acknowledge that and apologize for that. I'll apologize right now in advance. You know, if I say anything that might be taken the wrong way, well, that's not even the right way to say that. If I say something and it is wrong, I don't intend it to be. I don't intend that to be the case. I just hope that I do it justice. That's all I can say. Whoa. Gotta hurry up and get out of the way here. I'm just going to be doing the menial task of... Whoa. Being in the nether. Wanting... What? Wanting so bad to do this talk justice without having to concentrate on building or anything. So I'm actually just going to be looking for glowstone today. Walking around looking for glowstone, which I badly need. Everybody complains that there's no glowstone anywhere, and I'm looking around and I can almost agree with them. But time to go hunting. I think the last time I went hunting for glowstone in this direction, there was tons. So that's where I'm going to go again. You can see pillars, people who did it. Anyway, the topic today is a sensitive one. And I want to also say, this will be the second point. First point was that I don't want to offend anybody, and I'm very sorry if I actually do in some way. That's not my intent. Second point is that it is a sort of sensitive topic. It's about sexuality. It's about knowing who you are, and about... What's the best way to say it? It's basically just about being yourself, but it's a topic that a lot of people might be shocked about, in that it does very highly relate to sex and sexuality. And I know that there are some people who do find even the talking about things like that to be a little bit kind of not to their taste. So that's my other warning, my other point right now, is that if you have a problem with that kind of thing, then this is your 5-second warning. You don't have to watch this video. You can go elsewhere. If that's the kind of thing that you're not comfortable talking about, or you don't want to hear me talking about it, that's fine. This has a lot to do with feminism, women's rights, a woman's choice to be herself, and things like that. So for those who do choose to stick around, I think that it is important that we have a discussion about it. Me being a guy, I hope that my perspective might be a little bit more neutral, or it could be seen as almost an unbiased opinion of it. Although I am very passionate about the way that I feel about these kinds of things. So, you know, I'm not saying that just because I'm a guy, I can't have an opinion that matters, or that's as passionate as a woman's opinion about it. But it's more personal, I think, to a woman than it is to me. You know, who am I? I don't have this issue in my life, and I think a lot of guys don't. So that's kind of the perspective I wanted to show. And here we go. This is, like I said, this is the only topic so far that I've ever experienced where my stomach is in knots, even just thinking about how I'm going to talk about it, because it really is a difficult subject to talk about, I think, to do it justice, so that nobody's offended, and so that people who were offended kind of get some solace, I suppose. My intention isn't to bring ease to anyone's mind. I mean, that's always a nice result if, you know, some people can say, you know, thank you for talking about it. You know, you're giving a voice to people who have been wrongfully shamed, or that kind of thing. That's a nice little kind of a a sub thing that happens, but it's not my intent. I just want to talk about it. So of course the subject is slut shaming, and that really is the best words I can use to describe it. It's what other people have used. It's what I will use too. And it's happening a lot more now. I think it's always happened, but I think girls and women are becoming more and more empowered into speaking their concerns and voicing their opinions that is wrong, that it's not right that people do it. And so I think that it's always happened in society, but it feels like, at least to me, that I'm hearing about it a lot more. Never in any good way when you hear about it more, but I'm hearing about it more, which means that people are talking about it more. You know, is that good? Is it bad? It's happening more, either way. I also think that, you know, people have often said that it stems from our cultures, dating way back, you know, even medieval times, where women were perceived in a certain way and they're expected to still be perceived that same way. It's proper etiquette. It's how they should be. And, I mean, there's a whole discussion about people's choices in life and other people's relation to those choices. So let's try to get through this in the best way possible. I think the best way would be to describe some instances that I read about and heard about, none of which affected me personally, but some which affected some friends personally. So to me, that might as well be personal, you know? If it's affecting a friend of mine, then obviously I'm going to have issue with it. I'm not suggesting that any of my friends were wronged in any way, but I think that this is a problem that affects a lot of people in a lot of different ways. They don't necessarily need to be directly affected by it for it to affect them, you know? I hope I explained that right. So the whole topic, let's start by saying that I read some articles, and this is what got me thinking about it. This is what got me really almost fired up about it, and that's why I say I am passionate about it. It doesn't affect me personally, really, but I'm passionate about it enough that it gets me fired up to hear about it. So I was on some random news website. I don't even remember the website. I don't remember how I got there. It was just one of those, it might have even been like a pop-up on a website and had a news article that I started to read. Or it was, I might have been reading about some kind of a video game article, and it was like on the side, like you may also be interested in. And it was an article about this young girl, and I'm talking 12 years old. She was pretty young, and she was kicked out of her prom. I didn't see. I'm not American, and in Canada we don't have prom really. It might be a weird concept to grasp for some Americans who, I know it's a pretty major aspect of them growing up and going to school and stuff. But I've never been to a prom. We've never had proms in Canada where I'm from anyway. Maybe in other parts of Canada they do have proms, but it was never a thing here. Because I think that schools generally like to remain neutral or something. I don't really know what reason they have for not having them. We did have a few dances and things like that, but no prom, no obligation to go and date someone and take them dancing. To me, that even kind of, the concept is a little bit outdated. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But we've never had prom, so I can't relate to how other people feel about them. But apparently, it's a really important part of them growing up and stuff. And I can see that. I mean, if it's something that you've come to expect that will happen, and you have certain expectations socially and culturally about a prom date and how it goes and stuff. It's an important day either way. So what happened is, I was going to say, I don't know why or when you have proms. I thought that it was kind of a, like, senior prom was something that happens at the end of high school or maybe the end of middle school or something. She was 12 years old, so that to me sounds a little bit young for, you know, expecting a girl to go out with some guy or girl or two guys going out, whoever. It's weird to have this expectation that they're gonna get together at that age and dance, at least in my mind. But you know what? That's just how it is, so all the power to them. Anyway, she got kicked out of her prom because she was a plus-size girl, and the dress she wore showed off her natural self, I could say. And what happened was she went to this prom. They said that the dress was too revealing, even though it really wasn't. There were pictures online of this dress. It looked like, you know, any ordinary dress. I wouldn't have picked it out of a lineup of dresses and said, yeah, that one's the culprit, you know? If you were to show me 10 dresses, I mean, I'm no, I don't have any judgment on dresses in any case. You could show me 10 dresses and I'd probably think they were all fine. None of them are vulgar in any way. And that's kind of the point, I suppose, that they're trying to make. Is that this girl was kicked out of her prom because her dress was too revealing, even though it wasn't, but that's not the point. She was kicked out of her senior prom because of the impulses, I suppose, that the young boys and stuff at the prom would have if she wore this dress, because she was plus size and she had more visually there than other girls might at her age, and because of that you shouldn't intensify it, I suppose, is how they were kind of looking at it. That was the first article. I then read another article, and it was kind of a similar case where a girl was kicked out of another dance or something like that by her dress met the requirements. They had a dress code, which is apparently one of the biggest factors in all of these cases, that these dress codes even exist. But there was a dress code, and she even met the dress code. You know, the first one, the one that I said, you know, the dress, she got kicked out because of the dress. It was too revealing or something. I think the story actually is that her dress did not meet the dress code. Dresses had to be pre-approved, and she didn't get that done. So, you know, can you blame policy? What can you blame? Either way, the fact that dress codes even exist like that are kind of part of the issue. But this other person, she got kicked out, even though her dress did meet the requirements set by this council, this club, this school, whatever it was. She did meet the requirements, but she was kicked out anyway because the fathers who were watching thought that it was giving the other boys impure thoughts or something, which of course you could then see it wasn't the other boys getting those thoughts, it was the fathers, disgustingly enough. So it made me really kind of upset about the whole issue, that this is even an issue. Which of course brought me right back to the things that happened recently, and this was not to a friend of mine that I know directly, but a girl who is friends of friends of friends, you know, who was, she does a lot of cosplays and stuff, and this radio show chose to target her and kind of mock her and ridicule her for the way she dresses, as being slutty or as being inappropriate, when the honest truth of the matter was that she just enjoys dressing the way that she wants to dress, and what difference does it make how it makes other people feel. And I think that's the biggest aspect that I agree with. You know, it's so weird that people are making these rules to prevent the impulses of others. You know, shouldn't it be the responsibility of those people who have those impulses? You know, and she actually made a vlog post about it, and it really got to me. I mean, it's such a sweet girl, and she's making this vlog video about what happened to her and things like that, and she was clearly really emotional about it. It started getting me all emotional about it, and she made this comment right at the end of the video that it's kind of the ultimate what can you say, example, I guess. Yeah, it's the ultimate example. If those two at the prom, this third, her being shamed for cosplaying in what might seem like a sexually suggestive way, or this fourth example, which was that there was this girl from Turkey, I think, and she was basically attacked. She was being raped, and what happened is she pepper sprayed her attacker, but the attacker still stabbed her and actually killed her. And what they said was that it was because she was dressed in a very suggestive way that it was her fault. I don't know the particular story. I don't know if that's exactly what the guy's defense was, but I've heard similar things to that, where they blame the women for being women. Basically, they blame the women for how they dress, how they look, how they act, and not themselves for acting on those impulses. You know, so it's such a kind of a crummy society, really, that we're living in if we have it backwards thinking, where you shame the person who's victimized, not the people who victimize. You know, it's so bizarre to think about it that way, where, you know, if someone dresses a certain way and you choose to behave a certain way as a result, that's on you. That's on that person. That's not because of the way that someone dressed. You know, certain feelings obviously are going to be natural, but as far as appropriateness is concerned, I think that's an altogether different issue. It's hard to judge how a person should and should not behave in society. It goes kind of both ways that way. I think that people have a right to behave and act and dress the way that they want to. They have the right to do whatever they want to with their bodies, with their hairstyles, with their clothing, with their relationships in life, with whatever. Why would it ever be someone else's business? So that, you know, when it comes to dress codes and stuff, I think that's one of the biggest aspects, is like, why are these dress codes even in place? To prevent what from happening exactly? What is the dress code there for? So, you know, you look at things like that, and it really makes you think, what are those dress codes there for? Are they there to prevent a certain person from acting a certain way? If that's the case, then what person acting in what way? And is a dress code really the appropriate action we should be taking? Or is the appropriate action we should be taking educating boys and girls, both, in their impulses and, you know, what to do, what not to do? But then there's that aspect of it as well, where a lot of people feel, you know what? So what? If I have an impulse to act a certain way and do a certain thing, even when it comes to sex, that's, again, my business. I was watching a video. It was a second video, not the one by this cosplayer. but it was a second video, and it was a bunch of guys talking. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ooh. Wow. Yikes. Whew. Scared myself half to death. Anyway, it was a second video, and it was a bunch of guys talking about slut shaming. Using those words as well. And about basically, you know, I think most of them had the opinion of what difference does it make? You know, if someone likes having sex a lot, that's on them. That's their business. Why is it bad? Why is it terrible? Why should they be ridiculed? What difference does it make to anybody else how I treat my body? And then also the other subject was, you know, if I have an attractive body, what difference is it to me that people feel a certain way about it? You know? So there were a lot of elements like that in the video too. And I have to agree. I have to agree that, you know, if someone wants to behave a certain way, then that's their business. There is definitely a difference between having an impulse and acting on an impulse inappropriately. And unfortunately, I think that a lot of people may not have that kind of on-off switch, or maybe they don't know right from wrong. Like, isn't this a basic human trait that we learn when we're babies, when we're infants? The difference between right and wrong? If you don't know the difference, then as a little infant, you were wronged in some way, I guess. Your education was failed. So, you know, that goes back, like I was saying, with the dress code thing. Really, who is that for? Because people should be responsible for the impulses they have. I mean, like I said, having them and acting on them are two different things. Either way, you're responsible. And I think that even having some of these impulses is a little bit of a lack of education. It's not all natural, you know, hormonal impulses. Some of these are developed because they feel a certain way about women or men. It's something that they learned, maybe incorrectly, wrongly. Impulses that they shouldn't have, that they learned negatively were right because that's how all other people seem to feel about it. I don't know. Ooh, missed them. Anyway, it's a very broad subject. I don't even know where to go from here. I just wanted to say my stance on it is that, yeah, I think that what happened to these people, all of these people, in all of those examples, is a horrible, terrible thing. I don't feel like any of them deserved it. You know, it never is a nice thing to be shamed in any way, for any reason. Especially on something so personal as your body or your sexuality. You know, whether it's a person's weight, or a person's lack of weight, or a person's beauty, or a person's lack thereof, you know, whatever it might be. Why is it an issue to anyone else's but themselves? You know, if a girl feels comfortable wearing a certain thing, then they should be able to wear that, and that's going to be my opinion. And I'll tell you right now, I've often said, opinions can change, but this is one that I don't think ever will for me, is that people have the right and ability to do whatever they want. That's bad. So, especially when it comes to their clothing, anyway. That's what I mean. Because this is where it all stemmed from, is clothing. In all of those examples, you could blame clothing. You could say that clothing is the culprit. But the real culprit are those who have these impulses, right? Because you can say, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I just want to reiterate it. That it's so bizarre to say, you know, oh, that person's clothing is sexually suggestive, so it's inappropriate. But aren't you the one who's being inappropriate by being sexual because of it? Like, that's really, I think, the root issue here, is the impulses that people have, and that people need to be better educated in how to behave and how to have these impulses when it's appropriate, you know, if it's a significant other or a loved one, and not when it's some random passerby on the street or some person that's a complete stranger to you. So I really wanted to talk about it, and specifically I'd love to hear in the comments what other people's opinions of it, both guys and girls who want to discuss this and who have thought about this. If you want to hear about the vlog where the friend of a friend of a friend was wronged, essentially, her YouTube channel is Super Merry Face. It's phonetic, exactly as, well, that's not phonetic. It's exactly as you would assume it is. Super Merry Face. She's really awesome for going out of her way to talk about this and discuss it, especially for other women out there who want to be able to wear whatever they want without it being wrong, without it being looked at as inappropriate, when guys generally don't have that same stigma. Though I'm sure that a man walking around in a thong would kind of, you know, what's inappropriate, what isn't. You know, if he's comfortable wearing that, then sure enough, I'd be okay with that, I guess. You know, that's fine. Whatever. Hats off to him for being that brave. I certainly wouldn't be. So, I mean, yeah, I just want to hear your opinions about it just as much as I'm sure you guys want to hear my opinions of it. It's one of those things where I think that all women are special and powerful and beautiful in their own ways. Their emotions and feelings are their own, and it's none of my business or anyone's business to tell them how they should act, how they should dress, how they should behave. It's like I wouldn't expect it from anyone else either to tell me how I should dress, how I should act, how I should behave. So, with all that said, thank you guys for watching. My stomach is no longer in knots now that I've had that talk. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it, this discussion. May talk about it more in the future, depending on how the conversation continues to develop. But to any women out there who might be watching, and guys as well, you know what? Just be yourself. Have courage and be kind. Stole that line from Cinderella. Have courage and be kind. That's all that you can do in life. And you know what? If other people choose to not be kind to you in return, that's on them. So, with that, thank you guys for watching. Like this video. Comment below. Definitely comment below. I want to hear it. And we'll see you next time on TimeShot. Bye-bye.